Hello and welcome to Perspectives, the podcast series from Luxoft, where we discuss the latest technology trends with IT experts and consider their impact on business and consumer lives. My name is Chris Andrews and I'm the Global Marketing Director for Financial Services at Luxoft. I'd like to introduce James Bowkett, who leads the blockchain practice at Luxoft, and Vasiliy Suvorov, our Vice President of Technology Strategy. Today we're going to be talking to these two experts about why business leaders need to care about blockchain. So, why should business leaders care about blockchain?
Well, I think as we saw in previous episodes, is that blockchain is a very simple and elegant idea. It brings out these properties, and it's actually very, very powerful. So it's not necessarily a new idea or a new technique. It's a unique convergence of lots of different ideas and lots of different techniques. So I mean, I come up against doubting Thomases that just say, hey, well, why can't I just use a database and a message queue? It's like, well, actually, you've given me two pieces of technology there, whereas I can give you one piece of technology which will do everything for you in that scenario. And if you share a database amongst companies or what have you, can you really make guarantees that no one has touched that boundary, either in your organization or in the other party's organization? So it gives you guarantees. I think is its starting point for any conversation around blockchain is making guarantees around that data, and being able to sort of share data across company or organizational boundaries as well is really where it's really starting to shine.
And I would add that maybe a bit more, business level reason why business leaders need to be upbeat and paying attention to blockchain or distributed ledger technology in general is the fact that if we look at the business world today, it changes every day, right? And what is the change? The change is that we see that the companies that are able to build their own network actually are becoming, multi-billion-dollar companies. They become cool, they become interesting, they can monetize their data, and they basically dominate the market. If you look at, Facebook, at Google, Amazon, Twitter, and so on and so forth. But it's their network. And people who want to use those networks to promote their products, to connect to other companies, to other consumers, they either need to create some sort of central consortium, which is the case for financial industry, right? If you deal with securities, you need to deal with central custodians or central clearing houses and things like that, which will hold your technology. Or in case with Google and Twitter and so on and so forth, you deal with a third-party company that's actually making money on your data, right? Well, and blockchain actually is a way to disrupt that. So you can disrupt the disruptor. So you can build your business ecosystem without building a dominant, network player who over time becomes slow, not innovative, expensive, and so on and so forth, right? Because as we said in our earlier episode, blockchain or DLT is all about sharing data in a trusted, tamper-proof way in your ecosystem between third parties, right? And that's what makes it actually very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of the poison chalice of blockchain as well, isn't it? The good news is it really breaks down those barriers, being able to sort of share data between or across company or organizational boundaries. So that's the good news. But the bad news is you've got to get multiple parties and multiple organizations and companies to actually get behind that effort and really see the value in it. And that's the real trick, is kind of getting people to collaborate, which is, different industries have succeeded and failed in varying measures.
Which industries? I mean, where are we seeing it being adopted?
Well, I think that the finance industry was certainly where the most interest and the earliest interest outside of Bitcoin, etc. So finance was with the first starting point for blockchain and for the excitement. But we're seeing it sort of across industries now. So things like healthcare and logistics and shipping and Internet of Things as well. I mean, you take something like healthcare. Obviously privacy is front and center in everybody's mind when it comes to medical records or insurance records around around their health. But also, the guarantees that it makes of being able to sort of share that data and hold the integrity of it really is really starting to become quite exciting because we can clear up a lot of these painful moving parts and remove a lot of the friction between the different processes that are currently in place. And different industries have different manual processes or even the kind of the manual processes or the paper-based processes, the kind of the Darwinian theory of necessity is the mother of invention. Sort of someone will find a way to just kind of get the result that they need, and never mind the fact that they've got 5 to 10 people doing manual workarounds or what have you. That's the way it's always been. But actually, blockchain comes in and it's able to streamline a lot of those processes and remove a lot of those moving parts and add resilience into those infrastructures that either don't exist today or exist but in a costly manner today.
Okay, so you talk about financial services, you've talked about healthcare. It's moving from your early adopters into early majority. Why wouldn't industries, why wouldn't organizations want to adopt blockchain when it's being picked up so readily?
Well, yes, I think it's a very good question. Thank you, Chris. And the reason is that, blockchains are actually very inefficient databases, right? So, and that's an important point. We as a technology consulting company, when we talk to our customers, we are actually excited about blockchain or DLT, but it's not a silver bullet, okay? So what needs to happen is that whenever anyone looks at a project and thinks, oh, it's a good match for a blockchain, they need to apply a certain methodology to really sort of make sure it is a good match, right? We have ourselves designed a methodology to do it. It consists of several structured questionnaires that we go through just to identify certain pitfalls, and something we have created called a Litmus Test, which we ask a set of questions like, do you need to share the data between third parties? Do you need to build a network? Do you need to guarantee the data to other participants? Do you benefit from immutability? And all these other different questions that really get the customer into the right thinking mode to understand, is it actually a blockchain project, or maybe it's not? Maybe it's a microservices project. Maybe it's a database project, because otherwise it will be wasted.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I think when we started out on the blockchain journey, so often it felt like we would talk to people at conferences, and people would say, "Oh, well, the answer's blockchain. Can you guys tell me the question?" And it was kind of it's a little bit like the tail wagging the dog, isn't it? It's felt like things have sort of really started to mature, and sort of I think our role has always been to kind of keep a level head on that. I mean, I like to think of us as solving problems. There's obviously a problem that a customer has on the table, and it's not about forcing this or that new technology on them. It's which of the tools in our toolbox can best solve that problem. And as we've kind of, as the market has matured as well, we've seen lots of our customers and have actually developed. So they've got sort of internal innovation labs, or they've got sort of head of R&D, or even head of blockchain now, you see, as well. So it's actually a realization within that market that people will need to be aligned around. They'll at least need a blockchain strategy, I think. So I think that's where we can add a lot of value is actually partnering with people, and we've had certain conversations with different customers to do partnering around kind of technology and innovation, and blockchain is part and parcel of that kind of a strategy.
Absolutely. So I think strategy is a very important word here, because as we mentioned, blockchain really shines where you need to build an ecosystem with other third parties. And for me, it's actually very difficult to imagine a business that doesn't want to do that, because right now, all the businesses, all the digital strategy is essentially about building a new type of user experience for their customers, be it business customers or individual customers or retail customers, and so nobody can actually try to cover all the possible use cases. So it's all about network. And if you have a network, right, you need to share data in a trusted way, act upon that data, monetize that data, and then really build out your business and shine at the core of the business, right, where and rely on other partners to fill in the gaps, right, so you can address your customers' needs. And therefore, I think this is your blockchain strategy. It's really part, for us at Luxoft, really, blockchain is not a project in itself. Blockchain is important enabling part for digital enablement project or digital transformation project. And I think, to have a blockchain strategy means to clearly identify what is your digital enablement path, what is your digital transformation path, and where do you benefit by participating in a decentralized ecosystem, because it gives you flexibility, it gives you agility, it gives you new types of business models. So if you think about that, and if you can match it to your product plans, to your business plan, then you basically have a blockchain strategy, because then it becomes easy. Because we can apply our methodology, our Litmus Test, our 4C model that talks about and it helps us identify different types of blockchain, and then it becomes just basically a technical task to implement it. Right. The hard part is to identify the business parts, the business use cases where our customers will benefit from it.
But I guess the message to our customers is effectively, do you know what your innovation strategy is, and blockchain will be part of that, and
right.
And ultimately, can you afford not to have an innovation strategy with the speed
right.
that technology and business is evolving these days?
Thanks very much, guys. Look forward to continuing the conversation in the next episode. For more information on any of the topics covered in these podcast series, please visit luxoft.com.